This means that Bill Burr is both a moral and an economic idiot. This is not actually how economics works. People like Bill Burr believe that the economy is static, and so billionaires are just taking a bigger chunk of a fixed pie, but that is not how the economy works. It turns out that Bill Burr charges a lot of money for his comedy special. Shouldn't he give it out for free? I mean, there are a lot of working people who really like Bill Burr, and they now have to choose between paying their rent and getting a Bill Burr ticket. Maybe he should give away all of his product for free.
So Ben Shapiro, this absolute clown that I've never liked, has been attacking Bill Burr recently. This isn't the first time he's taken shots at Bill Burr, but ever since that Luigi Mangione thing happened where that kid killed a CEO of a health insurance company, Bill Burr sort of got on a bit of an extra extravagant rant about the rich and billionaires, which really upset Ben Shapiro and his feelings. So Ben Shapiro made this video responding to Bill Burr's take on billionaires, I guess. But basically, when that health insurance CEO was murdered, Bill Burr's response was like, you sort of had it coming. Like, I understand why there's no empathy from the public about this. And the whole thing is just Ben Shapiro taking Bill Burr way too seriously. The arguments that Ben Shapiro makes towards Bill Burr is just so cringe. Calling him an economic idiot for not understanding basic economics, saying that he should give out his show tickets for free, and that if Bill Burr keeps talking about this sort of thing, the world's going to collapse. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense.
So Bill Burr has decided, as a very rich individual who makes money by saying funny things sometimes, and then he decided that he was going to go not just woke, but the wokest of the woke on everything from race to economics. On his Monday morning podcast, he decided that he was going to sound off about billionaires again. Now, again, this is not his first rodeo on this particular topic. We talked about this a few weeks ago. He suggested that Luigi Mangione, who is the shooter of Brian Thompson, who is the head of United Healthcare, he was the CEO over there, the murderer of that guy on the street. Bill Burr had suggested that he basically had it coming because he ran a health insurance company.
For Ben to come in here and say that he's turned woke doesn't make any sense. He hasn't turned woke at all, actually. So I don't know where he even got that from. It's just totally rage bait. I don't know where he's pulled that out of, but like, I guess you could say that he more stands with the working class, but he's just saying what is true, what he thinks is outrageous, how he feels. He's just ranting about how he feels, really, and how his audience feels. And that claim at the end there saying that Bill Burr suggested that healthcare CEO had it coming is not even true. He wasn't agreeing with the murder. He doesn't believe that murder is right. All he's saying is he understands the lack of empathy towards the killing of that healthcare CEO because of the absolute evil money-making industry of which is healthcare.
You know what's annoying me about this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this because of how these insurance companies treat people when they are at their most vulnerable, after we've all given them our money every fucking month, and now we finally need you, and all you do is deny us. And then these pussies and all of these things are taking the pictures of their CEOs off their websites. I got to be honest with you, okay? I love that fucking CEOs are fucking afraid right now. You should be. By and large, you're all a bunch of selfish, greedy fucking pieces of shit, and a lot of you are mass murderers. You just don't pull the trigger. That's why it looks clean. That's why these people look, oh my God, he was just, walking into a hotel. It's like, okay, but what was his job? What did he do? What was the results of it?
Like, yeah, his claims are a bit outrageous and exaggerated, but that's literally all they are, exaggerated rants. That's just what Bill Burr does. Like, he's not going to go out there with his own pitchfork and be like, yeah, let's go kill the next healthcare CEO. Like, that's not what he's saying. In saying that, also, Bill Burr's not a political figure. He's not Ben Shapiro. He doesn't sit there and rant about his political views. He just says what's on his mind. It's just crazy that Ben's taking him so serious. But Ben goes on to make this really crazy, weird, cringe statement that Bill Burr is inferring that all billionaires should die because they have lots of money, which is just so stupid. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, now Bill Burr has expanded his critique out to all billionaires. Apparently, according to Bill Burr, simply earning a lot of money in the United States or anywhere else means that you should be murdered. This means that Bill Burr is both a moral and an economic idiot. This is not actually how economics works. The way that you become a billionaire in a free market capitalist system is by generating new goods, products, and services at a price enough affordable that people want to get it. That is it. That That is how you make a lot of money. Back in the old days of feudalism, the way that you made a lot of money is by robbing poor people and taking all their stuff. And you had to do that to a lot of poor people because they didn't have a lot of stuff. And it turns out the people in those days who were rich actually weren't all that rich by modern standards. They didn't have any modern conveniences. There was no innovation or anything like that. Okay, but billionaires of today, generally speaking, are billionaires because they created something that's awesome for everybody. But Bill Burr obviously doesn't understand economics. He doesn't understand morality either, because his suggestion is that if you, apparently, if you are worth $999 million, you're good to go. If you make $1 billion, you should be murdered on the streets, according to Bill Burr.
This is just so corny. Like, I don't know why Ben is trying to explain to Bill how basic economics work, like as if he doesn't already know that. Like, he's just sitting here ranting about how Bill Burr is a complete economic idiot for saying billionaires should die. And that comment about if you are worth 999 million but not $1 billion, you're good to go is just crazy. Like, shut up, bro. Like, that is just so cringe. Bill Burr actually responded to all of this, and he said something. He said, I don't even know who that Ben Shapiro guy is, but he's a jerk off. And I just think that's like the funniest response you could get out of Bill Burr. I think it's perfect. So, and by the way, absolutely no one is siding with Ben Shapiro here. If you go to his own comment section, all of his comments are just flaming him. Sorry, Ben, I'm with Bill on this one. Imagine being a billionaire clock sucker. You immediately lost, Ben. Lay it down. You lost. But here's the actual clip that Ben Shapiro is responding to.
The amount of people that are struggling out there because of these billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. If you work a full week at a job, you should be able to pay your rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. These billionaires, they need to be put down. You know, like rabid dogs.
So yeah, Bill Burr makes some pretty good points there about how you shouldn't have to work 2 jobs in the US and still be struggling. And then he drops a cheeky billionaires should all be put down, just as, you know, Bill Burr hate comedy as he would. But Ben Shapiro just takes it so seriously.
And then he added, they are rabid with effing greed and they're going out and dividing everybody. Well, there's certainly no divisiveness I'm sensing from Bill Burr there, talking about how people should be, legitimately murdered for earning too much money in the United States. It's this sort of terrible economic analysis that leads to Bernie Sandersdom. You just say, in the free country, nobody should have to live on more than one salary. Okay, well, thanks for your statement about realities that you wish didn't exist. Now, what is your alternative? Because it turns out the government ownership and redistribution of resources makes everyone extremely poor. It turns out that massive tax rates, confiscatory tax rates, kill the very businesses that people need to work for. It turns out that high levels of government regulation and intervention in the real estate market tend to generate higher prices in real estate, including in rent. That's what rent control does, for example. A misbegotten attempt to punish developers who are, quote unquote, billionaires by controlling the rents. And what you end up with is less production of buildings. The economy is dynamic. People like Bill Burr believe that the economy is static. And so billionaires are just taking a bigger chunk of a fixed pie. But that is not how the economy works. But where that shades over into truly evil thinking is when you start translating that into violence. That billionaires, because you misunderstand economics, need to be killed because they're suddenly centralizing all the resources. Please, name me the person from whom Elon Musk has stolen money. Seriously, I'd like to hear the name of that person so Elon Musk can repay that money.
Just another example of Ben Shapiro taking Bill Burr way too seriously. And then Ben goes on and says this really cringe thing about how Bill Burr should give out his show tickets for free.
For that matter, I would love to know from whom Bill Burr has stolen his money. Bill Burr has a net worth, apparently, around $20 million. From whom did he steal that money? What's the cutoff for being a bad person? Is it like $21 million or something? It turns out that Bill Burr charges a lot of money for his comedy special. Shouldn't he give it out for free? I mean, there are a lot of working people who really like Bill Burr, and they now have to choose between paying their rent and getting a Bill Burr ticket. So, maybe he should give away all of his product for free.
So yeah, just taking absolutely everything out of context here. Ben Shapiro just making some really cringe arguments. So then Ben Shapiro, it basically explains why he's attacking Bill Burr so much. And his whole reasoning is basically that if we keep spreading this whole idea of misunderstood economics, it's going to take over and then the US is going to collapse, which is just so dumb.
I have a fear. Here is my fear. The American body politic tends to pendulum from side to side. This is how you end up with Trump and then Biden and then Trump again. But I think that the next pendulum swing, and there will always be another pendulum swing, is going to be to the far left, to the economic populist far left, to people who agree with Bill Burr. If there is an economic downturn in any way, shape, or form, because the American people have not been made aware of the realities of how economics works, because our education system has failed them completely on all of this, this sort of zero-sum ugly thinking is going to eventually gain victory in the United States at some point, not permanently, but at some point, because of all of the broken systems of education that have been put in place in this country. Because people have become so comfortable with the bizarre idea that rich people are stealing from poor people.
Ben Shapiro just keeps yapping about capitalism and saying that if we keep talking about how billionaires should give away all their money for free, then the world's going to completely collapse, and it's a stupid way of thinking. It's not even the way that Bill Burr's thinking. He's just saying that he hates the amount of greed that's attached to billionaires. Ben Shapiro is trying to make the argument that Bill Burr has joined the woke side. He even says it at the start. But Bill Burr literally says in the video that people need to stop arguing liberal and conservative.
And they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that.
Showing that he doesn't actually care. He just wants people to have a fair life and not have to struggle. And he's implementing his rage bait style comedy, which he's known for. Ben Shapiro, you complete clown. I'm calling rage bait on this one. The rage bait foot is down. It's either that or Ben Shapiro is just so far gone that he will do absolutely anything to protect the rich's feelings. But at the end of the day, Bill Burr is a comedian, Ben. He's going to say things that his audience wants to hear. And it's not like he's gone full woke and he's just saying things that he knows is going to get more clout. He's saying what he thinks is true. He's saying how he feels. He's trying to say that billionaires are greedy. That's literally it. And the only reason that he said that they should all die is because he's a comedian and he's making a joke. Oh my God, Ben Shapiro, you idiot. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for this video. There's not really else much to say. So yeah, see ya.